What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, man, Jay Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy, or you end up like Beezy. But make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel, bro. Your boy Jay will be live streaming a story mode game tonight. So make sure y'all come and tune into my Twitch live stream, bro. Subscribe to my second channel as well. I tried to tell y'all this, bro. Your boy Jay is diverse. You know what I mean? I could do gaming, I can do reactions, I could do whatever. I can do vlogging. You know what I'm saying? But the only reason I don't vlog because my life ain't boring right now, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just kind of in the work mode right now. I don't be going nowhere. I feel like a vlogging channel is for people that just go places and just do a lot of things. I'm gonna keep it real. I just don't do a lot of things right now. You know what I mean? That's okay. If it but vlog channel will be coming soon. But one thing I do have to make is the Jubilee reaction playlist section. You know what I mean? That will be coming, but I did part 1 of this. So if y'all want to go look it up, I should have a Jubilee reaction playlist section set up after this video, matter of fact. So y'all make sure y'all go look out for that. But we got one liberal man versus 20 MAGA women featuring Dean Weathers. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, bro. Some things I agree with that he says and some things I don't. And this is the topic right here. Abortion should be legal. I definitely don't agree with this. You feel me? Because unless you get RAPED, for all the smart people, y'all know what that means. Unless you get RAPED, unless you're a victim, when it comes to that, when it comes to, you know what I mean, that field, I don't feel like abortion should be legal. You know what I mean? I feel like abortion is selfish, and I feel like you know, the first thing y'all say, you know what I mean, it's our bodies. Well, the baby did not choose to come in this world. You know what I mean? You wanted to be fast, so you spreaded your legs open, you know what I'm saying, and you chose to have sex. So guess what? You know what I mean? You need to handle that responsibility because you know why? That baby that you getting killed did not choose to be in this world. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to hear about that. You're not ready. If you're not ready, just don't have sex. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? But what you going to try to do, you're going to try to act like a victim when you're really the cause. You're the cause. You know what I mean? So deal with the effect. Start looking yourself in the mirror. Okay, I'm the reason why I'm in this position. Once a lot of people start doing this, the world will be way much more better. Everybody always trying to play victim. Everybody always trying to blame somebody. Look at yourself in the mirror. That baby ain't just spawned in your freaking belly for no reason. You ain't Mary. You know what I mean? God ain't just put a baby in your belly. You know what I mean? Here goes a baby. No, you ain't. No. You opened up your legs and you got your duke busted.
Hello,
I don't feel
Georgia.
sorry for you.
Georgia, pleasure to meet you. You
Nice
said
to
that you
meet you.
work.
It's our bodies.
Yes, I do.
Very.
Say you
Let's
selfish.
talk about it.
Do you guys
So-
focus on like preventative means from pregnancy in the first place? Like, do you guys have like policy initiatives to like reduce financial instability or poverty in young
So
women?
what abortion does is it incentivizes people to live in a promiscuous way that further increases the rates of pregnancies that are not in a stable situation like marriage. And so I'm actually against contraception.
Being pro-contraceptive would save the lives of more innocent babies under your review because it would be
So
less
killing an
unwanted
innocent human
pregnancies.
being is always wrong. Abortion kills an innocent human being. Therefore, abortion is always wrong.
Yeah, I reject P1.
And allowing abortion just reflects our overall decay as a society when it comes to the way we view sexuality, marriage, and it just leads to a culture of death. When you have abortion, it leads to things like MAID in Canada. What abortion is we're allowing the government to have the authority to define when personhood begins because we're separating it from the moment of conception. And if it's not at the moment of conception, then the most powerful person gets to decide when it begins. And that's always subjective. And when more powerful people have that authority or allow themselves to have that authority to define when personhood begins, you have grave travesties like slavery. If it's a subjective line, then when does that begin? When does personhood begin? And when you say it doesn't begin at conception, it's actually what you're arguing is a very suspicious, mystical idea of when it does. And that sounds more superstitious than Christianity.
Well, thank you for your comments. About your syllogism, I'd reject P1. Don't think it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being.
To intentionally kill an innocent human being, you
You don't think it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being? Unless that woman was to get RAPED, it is wrong, point blank, period. But word on the street, I heard that you're an atheist. You know what I mean? One scripture that I like, you know what I mean? I think it was Proverbs chapter 17, verse 7. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much more it's 100 more lashes to a fool. You know what I mean? I think I said it right. You know what I mean? I'm still learning that scripture. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm still learning, Proverbs. You know what I mean? But I'm not talking, Proverbs chapter 17, verse 7. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. More than 100 lashes to a fool. That's what it was. You know what I mean? So I kind of slipped up a little bit because, like I said, I'm still, reading Proverbs. You know what I mean? Honestly, I just started Proverbs chapter 17. So please don't judge me. You know what I mean? But that right there was like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, bro, do you know how hard it is to talk to a godless fool? You feel me? And I was like, word on the street, I heard you're atheist. I don't know if you're atheist or right. They probably been lying, you know what I mean? But one thing about you atheists, bro, is y'all have no, like, say, integrity. You know what I mean? Y'all have no sense of direction. Like, y'all think y'all smart, but you're really not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, talking to a godless fool is like talking to, you know what I mean? No, that's not how it was. That wasn't what it was. You know what I mean? Proverbs chapter 17, verse 7. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much worse lying to a ruler? You know what I mean? So that's what it was. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 7. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much worse lying lips to a ruler? That's what it was. You know what I mean? Like I said, y'all, I'm still, in Proverbs chapter 17, verse 7. So basically what they're saying is, you know what I mean? Freaking talking to a godless fool is like lying to a freaking ruler. You know what I mean? You know how much trouble you could have got in way back in the day lying to a ruler? How much worse lying to than talking to a godless fool?
It's always wrong to intentionally kill.
Like talking to a brick wall. If that person don't have God in them, bro, it's like talking to a brick wall, bro.
Innocent human being.
Like I've said
Why?
to the last 5 guests, I mean, we do that to brain dead patients all the time.
Okay, so that's to withhold care from them. That sustains their life.
Okay.
That's different than intentionally going there and killing them.
Okay, so then you're on board with the abortion pill, withholding the progesterone supplied through the umbilical cord that would sustain the life of the fetus.
I'm completely against the abortion pill.
But it's just withholding care that would sustain the fetus's life.
It's different though in nature, because what we're doing is what occurs in the uterus is solely for the service of the fetus. The uterus does not exist to serve the woman. They exist to serve the child. What abortion is it's just the actual destruction of that child. It reflects the destruction of our idea of parental duty. Parents have a duty to care for their children. What's your question?
My question is, let's just like envision a hypothetical of like a 9-year-old girl getting raped and impregnated.
That's what I'm saying.
And we know that pregnancy is not going to kill her. Per your syllogism that you gave earlier, it seems to be the case that you'd argue it would be wrong for her to get an abortion. Is this true?
Abortion only continues to perpetuate violence, the cycle of violence. It only increases.
But I still, like, for me, honestly, I feel like, and that's one thing I feel like, even if she got RAPED'd, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, because it's a lot of women that keep their babies, you know what I mean, after getting RAPED'd. You know what I mean? So I just feel like you still should keep the baby, you know what I mean? Even though it happened to you, know what I mean? Bad things happen to good people all the time, you know what I mean? Bad things just gonna happen to people. That's just the world that we live in. So honestly, for me, I just feel like you should still, I don't know, man. I feel like you should still keep the baby, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure, I know for certain, you know what I mean? Most of the time, you're going to have a village behind you know what I'm saying? Honestly, but it's just like, killing a baby, I just feel like it's wrong. You know what I mean? Honestly, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, if a person got RAPED'd, I would understand more than a person that just freely had sex, you know what I'm saying? So I would understand more. I won't be on something like, are you know what I'm saying? I don't judge anybody. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't judge anybody. But I would have been more understanding and be like, okay, I see why you did it. Like, I see why you did it. You feel me? Not like, you get what I'm saying? I'm not going to look at her how I look at the one that's freely having sex. You know what I'm saying? Because she was
the trauma to that child. And what we would do, we would still try to minimize the trauma of pregnancy for that 9-year-old. I am completely against abortion in all cases, period. And that's the consistent pro-life stance.
Wow. What about when it's like the life of the mother on the line?
Okay, so that's nonsense. What we have is we have C-section. And so
what if it's before viability?
That simply does not happen. That simply is a lie.
Would you be okay with it?
There's no what ifs. Listen.
It's a good question.
It simply does not happen.
By the way, it does absolutely happen.
Okay,
the statement that abortion is never medically necessary before fetal viability is false. Serious or life-threatening pregnancy complications can occur before fetal viability. And in some cases, doctors may determine that ending the pregnancy is necessary to save the pregnant patient's life and prevent severe harm. These cases are uncommon, but they do happen.
Medical technology is so sophisticated
I like how
today.
you do
Can you just
fact
answer the
checks.
question? Like, would you be
Silly
okay with it?
idea that there is a black and white, the life of the mother. The technology we have today is where we can operate on fetuses,
Okay.
and the child can continue.
If a medical health professional determines that a pregnant woman will die if she doesn't get an emergency C-section or
Okay,
abortion,
then do the emergency C-section,
it's
Dean. You just
before-
proved my point.
no, I didn't.
Yes, I did.
Because it's
Yes, I
it's
did.
before viability.
Okay, when's viability?
which means-
Viability is based on technology.
I'm gonna go
Viability
ahead.
changes.
It is.
Viability
I
is
just
at
want
week
to ask my
20.
question.
One day viability might
So
be
the
at
question
the
that I'd
first
like
trimester.
you to, the question that I'd like to ask you is, let's assume a woman is pregnant. It's before viability, per the technological innovations and standards in America, because that's where we
When
live.
does personhood begin, Dean?
I'll happily
When does it
answer
begin?
your question. Of
When
what I
should
think
abortion be
personhood-
legal?
So I think that personhood begins around 20 through 24 weeks with the thymocortical
That's when
connections, the emergence
personhood
of a
begins?
mind. But my question is, if there's a woman that's pregnant, it's before viability, per like the technological innovation in America, and a doctor tells her that she needs to get an emergency C-section or abortion. It doesn't matter because either way it's going to kill the fetus. And the doctor says if she doesn't get this emergency C-section or abortion, then she's going to die. Would you be okay with her getting what? I just interested. It's I want to see where your ideological underpinnings fall.
So I notice how that's one of your debate strategies. You corner us into these questions. I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
So what doctors do is they take an oath that says do no harm. Doing an abortion not only does obvious harm to the child by killing the child,
Are you
but
gonna
it
answer the
actually does a
question?
lot of physical trauma to the mother.
Yeah, less trauma
It does a
than
lot of
childbirth.
trauma to the uterus. And not only that, but many women end up being suicidal after abortion.
Yeah.
But regardless of that,
Can you answer the question,
we have
though?
this very backwards view of the technology that we have now. There simply are not cases where women need to get abortions in
Notice
order
how
to
she's
save
not
their
answering the
life.
question.
Because it's not a scenario that actually exists. A lot of
Well,
these
then
doctors
I'd
are
highly
committing
implore you
medical
to do your
malpractice,
research.
and they're actually lying because they
So,
have an agenda. They don't.
If it were to happen, would you be okay with that woman getting an abortion?
Absolutely not, because that doesn't happen.
So if it did, you wouldn't be okay with her getting an
In the
abortion? That's
cases in
insane.
which it
Fuck.
does, see, we're talking
Okay, we
about.
got to pause there. We got to pause there. We're kind of at an impasse. We've also run out of time, so we're going to move on.
My next surrounded claim is Donald Trump is a terrible president.
All right, if you want to debate this claim, get to the chair in 3, 2.
And like I said, bro, I'm gonna just keep it real. Like, I stay out of politics because I really don't care. You know what I mean? I get on here every single day and I tell you that God is my president. God say, these are my enemies. You know what I mean? God say, you know what I mean? The enemies, you feel me? The rulers of the world, you know what I mean? The powers, you feel me? Those the ones that I should be against, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, as a Christian man, you know what I mean? As a man of God, you know what I mean? How I live like God is my president. You know what I mean? Donald Trump, you can't do, what can you do for me that God cannot? I have faith in the Lord, baby. That's how I live. Whether you believe in God or not, I have proof that God is real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna get into all that, you know what I mean? But I seen God work in my life more than ever, than Donald Trump, than Barack Obama. Now, I mean, God has done more for me than a Donald Trump, than a Barack Obama. I didn't get the unemployment checks. I don't know what's going on. So for me, and like I said, for me, I'm not a social media guy. I don't have Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I don't have none. I just have YouTube because it's my job, and I have Twitch because it's my job. You know what I mean? But I don't pay attention to politics. I don't care about Donald Trump. I don't keep up with Donald Trump. I probably react to news here and there. New subscribers, make sure y'all go check out my news reactions. I probably react to news here and there, but I don't care because I look at it like this. You cannot save me. Donald Trump, you can't save me from what's coming. God already know what's coming before it's even come. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna trust a mere man to help me. That's a lot of y'all. You trusting in Donald Trump to save you, to make your life better. You looking at the wrong person. You still waiting. What has Donald Trump did to better your life? Nothing. Nothing. What has he done to better your life? That's all I'm saying. What can Donald Trump do that God can't? Y'all so Christian this and Christian that, you know what I mean? But the minute something happen, you lose faith. Do you even rely on God? Or do you rely on Donald Trump more than you rely on God? Do you spend more time watching politics than you spend time reading the Bible? That goes to show who your God is. A lot of y'all be idolizing. You don't even know. What do you spend more time doing? Watching the news, watching politics, or watching the Bible? Or reading the Bible? Said that wrong. Reading the Bible. What do? I read the Bible more than I watch politics because I don't care. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I don't care about no Iran. I don't care about nothing. I don't care
Hi,
about
welcome back.
nothing.
Yeah.
I know that my Lord has me.
I don't know. Let's see. Donald Trump is a terrible president because he slept his way to the top.
No, I actually think that
Remember that? That was
Well,
brutal. Hey, listen. Floor's
he didn't
yours.
do that,
Why
so.
do you support Trump?
I think that he's obviously done a lot of things. I can't say he's a perfect person, but I do think he has done things to benefit us.
What is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a
He
half
ain't did
ago
nothing to benefit me.
under Biden?
Closing the borders.
So that's not a macroeconomic indicator.
Yeah,
a
it is.
macroeconomic indicator would be something like GDP growth, unemployment, inflation, jobs reports. And by definition, a macroeconomic indicator is just simply a gauge that we could use to determine the health of the economy overall. So
Yes,
once again, speaking
absolutely.
about GDP growth, inflation, like wages,
Well,
so on and
health
so
of
forth.
the economy, if
What's
I can dive into that.
one indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
The amount of drug use and fentanyl in society has gone down
Okay.
miraculously because he has
That's-
closed the border and illegal drugs are no longer allowed to come in.
You understand the question I'm asking you?
Yeah, I do, and I'm answering it.
So the amount of people that use drugs in society could, of course, influence macroeconomic variables. Like if everybody was drugged up all the time, nobody could go to work, right? So therefore, the macroeconomic indicator of like unemployment would be really high. Okay, so it's not directly the macroeconomic indicator, but rather it's an influence of the indicators. So directly, what is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago? Keep it in mind that macroeconomic indicators are things like inflation, GDP growth, wage growth, real median wages, unemployment, job reports, so on and so forth.
Same thing. I'm going to go with drug use.
Stop, dude. Okay.
Dude, I'm a
Listen.
girl.
So what macroeconomic indicators did drug use influence? Are you saying that now we have like a
can
lower
go with
level of
another thing
unemployment
about the
because of
border.
that?
By closing the border and not allowing illegal people in here, giving me and so many other people job opportunities that they weren't allowed to have before because
Yeah.
companies were employing illegal immigrants, just like the weed farm in California that Newsom was directly supporting.
I mean, you gotta understand that illegal immigrants do a lot of jobs that Americans don't want to do. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm gonna say it before and I'm gonna say it again. And I know a lot of lighter people gonna get mad. Who are you to tell? Who are you to call people illegal immigrants when y'all the illegal immigrants? You know what I'm saying? Do you know who your ancestors are? I'm just keeping it real. Your ancestors stole this land, but y'all got the nerve to say who the illegal immigrants is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got the nerve to say your ancestors not even legal immigrants. They're from Europe. They're Europeans. We were here first. You know what I'm saying? We were here first, and that's why I say when it comes to racist people, first thing they say, go back to where you came from. We were already here. Tell your ancestors to go back where they came from. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to go and say that, bro. A lot of you need to do research, bro, on who your ancestors are, where you really came from. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all don't know a clue about where you came from. A lot of y'all so freaking slow. It don't make no sense. You don't even know that all humans are from Africa. First thing racist people say, go back to Africa. Mother effer, you from Africa too. Do you not know you came from black people? You don't even know your history. That's how stupid some of y'all is. That's how slow some Americans is. You don't even know your dang history. All I'm saying is, bro, illegal immigrants do a lot more work. You know what I mean? Like illegal immigrants do so much work that Americans just wouldn't do. So do I feel like, you know what I mean, you should get rid of illegal immigrants? I mean, shoot, some. But all? I don't agree with that.
They had children at the age of 9 years old illegally here working for them. Those people are no longer allowed here, giving job opportunities to others. That is benefiting the economy, period.
So is that why we added the lowest amount of jobs to the economy in 20 years, ignoring recessions last year under Trump? Is that why we had the highest level of
they're
unemployment
opening
since the
opportunity.
pandemic?
Is it not
So-
opening opportunity?
Yeah, it's not. The reason why mass
It
deportation...
is actually, it is.
The reason why
For-
mass deportation doesn't open up job opportunity in America is very simple. Because ultimately, undocumented immigrants as a demographic are very economically productive. They pay over $100 billion in taxes
And
per
those
year
jobs
on
are
the
now
federal, state, and
open for
local
real
level.
Americans
and they
to
pay
have.
in $1.1 through $1.7 trillion to the GDP annually.
They actually don't.
And according...
They actually don't. Have you ever met
that's
an illegal immigrant that pays taxes?
So-
I'm sure you haven't.
So my source is the IRS. Do you think the IRS is lying?
Absolutely. I'm sure they can lie about statistics all the time.
So Donald
And
Trump's IRS is lying about how
it's
much...
not Donald Trump's IRS.
Well, that's what the IRS is saying today. Who's the president?
No, well, the statistics,
do you
came
know
in
who
from years
Scott
ago.
Besson
You've
is?
used that since the last time we were here.
Do you know who Scott Besson is?
No,
He's the administrator of the IRS. Do you know who he was appointed by?
Donald Trump. I'm
Donald
going to
Trump.
assume.
And Scott Besson and the IRS under Trump still report that. And listen,
And
it's
so you
it's
don't
not a
believe that
contestable
removing a
fact.
certain population can allow opportunities for others to come in. You
Because it
realize
makes the economy less productive.
I have family
Yeah.
that are refused opportunities, health care, and
Mm-hmm.
other resources due to the fact that it's oversaturated by people who do not have a citizenship here. And by closing those borders and not allowing those people to come in, it gives them the space to have that, because that's what my tax dollars should be paying
So
for.
do you think that undocumented immigrants can access like federal Medicaid, Medicare,
They
so on and so
can,
forth?
actually. They can.
Do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I actually know that they can, because I
Do
have
you know
family
what the
members
Personal
that can,
Work Order
that
and
can perfectly walk
Responsibility
in
Act?
and they can get checks month per month, living month per month, and we support that. Our tax dollars that we pay, we support
Can I
that.
get a yes or no? Do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I believe it has something to do with jobs and paying taxes no matter your...
No. The Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is a bill from the 90s that strictly limits and prohibits any type of federal public welfare benefit
And
from being
not
given
everywhere follows
to
the law, obviously. Here in
undocumented
California, we have...
immigrants. I'm going to continue to speak. There was one slight addendum to this with Obama's EMTALA, which just says that undocumented immigrants can get life-saving emergency care if they need it. But the point is, when you suggest that undocumented immigrants are reliant on these federal systems of benefit,
And they are.
anyway,
They
from
are.
Medicaid to Medicare to Section 8 to food stamps, they're not. It is
They are.
literally
They
illegal for them to
absolutely
collect
are.
those benefits.
And they do anyways, because
listen,
states like
by-
California allow it.
So
we pay for it.
you're
I believe
confused.
No, I'm not
What
confused.
you're confused
I know
about
exactly,
is a difference
I know
between
exactly what I'm talking
limited
about.
state level benefits and federal benefits. So you're right.
But it still happens on some level. Can you acknowledge that?
In 10 of our 50 states, undocumented immigrants have the limited ability to collect
But
social safety nets.
that still is an ability, and,
And
my
that-
tax
and that's
dollars in
fine.
California are paying for it. Yes.
Well, actually,
can
their
we agree
tax
on that?
dollars pay for it
Absolutely.
because they pay $100 billion per
my
year in
tax
taxes,
dollars
and they
pay for
subsidize
it.
you.
And people like my brother with disability that truly need those things are being cut.
They're completely different systems.
They're being absolutely not.
Yeah, they are.
Nope.
What's Medi-Cal?
Medi-Cal, my brother gets Medi-Cal, and they also get
No,
Medi-Cal.
it's specifically
yes,
a
they
system
do.
of benefit for undocumented immigrants that no longer
my
exists.
brother
Your
literally
brother's-
just got something in the mail
your
that says
brother's-
for Medi-Cal.
Your brother's on Medicaid.
No,
on the
he's not.
state
He's
level.
on Medi-Cal.
Listen,
honey.
the point that I'm trying to make here.
I'm filing for a conservatorship for my
So
brother. I would
the-
know exactly
the-
what he gets.
the point that I'm
and
trying to
it is
make here.
getting cut day by day because of the oversaturation and
the-
the overpopulation of people we don't even know exist.
Okay,
and
I'll
we
wait
are
for you to
paying
finish.
for them.
Okay.
So do we not acknowledge that by closing the borders, like I'm going to go back to my point, just like you like to do with everybody else, I'm going to go back to my point that by cutting that population off and allowing more space for opportunity for Americans would benefit the economy.
So you're saying that you pay for the benefits of undocumented immigrants when they're paying over $100 billion per year in taxes on the federal, state, and local level. Well, guess what? They're paying for their own benefits in the 10 limited states that give them. In
No, they're
fact,
not. Do their jobs.
I mean, this is just anti-intellectualist propaganda. That's what the IRS says. That's what the Cato Institute, who's ran by libertarians, which is right-leaning,
That's
says.
disgusting for you to say.
I
We have to
think it's
pause there. We have to
disgusting for
pause
you to
there.
be hating
You've been
other
voted
ones.
out.
Hey there.
All
Hey
right,
there.
If you want to be the next debater, get to the chair.
I love watching this, you know what I mean? But one thing I just like, I would love to debate sports, you know what I mean? Honestly, like debating sports is something I love to do, you know what I mean? So I can't be like on some like, I would really like want to debate and all. Nah, like I like to do a good debate when it comes to something I care about, you know what I mean? But this right here, I don't care about none of this, you know what I mean? Honestly, but I feel like it is important, y'all. One thing I do honestly feel like it is important is to know the laws of the land. And that's one thing that I'm doing, bro, is just getting so much knowledge in my brain, you know what I mean? Knowing knowledge of the land, bro. So if you know the laws of the land, bro, and you know what I mean? Like how I can just tell y'all, you know what I mean, that America for species, that's what America, you know what I mean, is named after. Native Americans was here first. White people came from Europe, you know what I mean, and then stole the land from the Native Americans and stuff. That's why I can just tell y'all all this, you know what I mean? So you feel me? Because it's just research and knowledge that you just have to have, you feel me?
In 3, 2, 1.
How, you know what I mean? Africa is the homeland for humanity.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Everybody
My
came
God.
from Africa and
It's
then
nice.
translated to other different countries and continents. That's how it works. You feel me? But you got to know these things. What you don't know, you know what I mean? Just don't know. You feel me? So you really can't come up here and just, you know what I mean, debate with Dean Withers, you know what I mean, if you don't know certain things. So it's just important for you to just know what the heck going on before you get on here and just talk. Or you're just going to look like a fool. Somebody who speaks on something they have no knowledge of is a fool.
Nice to meet you too. I want to talk to you.
So like I really couldn't say nothing about who won that debate, who didn't win that debate, you know what I mean? Because honestly, I don't know half of the stuff they're talking about.
point of view as a Mexican, American, Jewish. I'm not saying Trump is perfect, but I'm saying the reason I vote for him and I would vote again. First of all, I want to touch the point that she said about borders, but not about the people. I'm talking about the drugs and the traffic that is coming from my country, and it's from my government, because Mexico.
I ain't gonna lie. Now, one thing I can say that Donald Trump is doing, Donald Trump is busting down on cartels. And we can say that for sure. He busting down on them drugs, bro. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So that's one thing that we can give to him. That boy not playing when it comes to drugs, boy. I'm telling you. Got every cartel tweaking.
It's a narco government.
But I'll say that's one thing. That's one good thing that he doing for sure.
Only
I'll give
one
him
who
that.
has the guts to go right now and deal with the president, Trump, because the other administration didn't do it.
No.
Who went to bring Venezuela, Maduro, to the jail? Trump. And this is affecting United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying everything he's doing is great.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish, so I support Israel. Who is the only one who's supporting Israel? Trump. Otherwise, I don't know how we're going to be right now. I mean, by God's help.
Let's
You know
support.
what I'm saying? But God, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to Israel, boy, that's the last place I want America to beef with. It don't beef with Israel, bro. You know what I mean? God is heavily favored. God heavily favors Israel. You know what I mean? Israel gets in wars, and that one thing I like America, we're cool with Israel. You know what I mean? That is one place that I would love us to be cool with, because if we're against Israel, it's gonna be a problem. You know, it's gonna be a real deal problem. Israel will never get destroyed, ever.
Support a state that's committing a genocide and ethnic
well, don't talk
cleansing of
about it, because
Palestinians
that-
and Lebanons. And let's make sure to throw $1 billion a day at a war that's killed 13 of our servicemen and women for another state, per the testimony of Joe Kent. Listen,
This is
okay,
the
here's
first
my point.
ally
I want to
of the
respond.
United States.
I want to
Is
respond to the first
Israel
thing.
is the first ally of United States. So we
Yeah,
have the
we
right to
shouldn't.
support Israel. And you know what? God said to Abraham, I will bless whoever bless you, and I will curse whoever curse you.
Yeah.
If you want to be blessed, and this country needs to be blessed, needs to bless Israel first.
Yeah.
Every single
Be the
country
prophet.
every single country who has been cursed Israel is, look how they are
This
right
is
now.
religious
You know,
psychosis.
It's not.
It's not religious psycho. That joke is real, bro. I'm telling you. See, that would say you an atheist, so you don't understand, bro. Hey, bro, you deal with Israel, bro. You're gonna get punished. You know what I mean? You're gonna get destroyed. You feel me? You seen what just happened. You seen what just happened. What was Iran that tried to deal with Israel? You see what happens. You know what I'm saying? You see what the freak happens when you deal with Israel, bro. You mess with Israel, bro. Things don't go right for you, gang. That's why I was like, bro, the hand of God is on Israel, boy. You better do your research on Israel, boy.
It's genuinely
It is
religious
what it is.
psychosis.
Do you
You're
see
saying-
how Chavez
you're-
ended?
listen,
He
you're
cursed
saying-
Israel from
you are
his
saying-
intestine. He said it.
You are
from him,
saying-
and he's dead.
Okay. Yeah, we have to bless the ethnic expansionist, genocidal, terroristic state, or else we're all going to be cursed and die. I want to respond to
Alright.
the first couple claims that you made, specifically on topic with Venezuela and the border. So, who brings in 70 to 80% of the drugs into this country per the Homeland Border
Mexico,
Security?
Colombia, Venezuela. Who is bringing them?
Yeah.
Who is supporting them? It's Mexican country. And I'm sorry to say it. I love my country. But my government is
Okay,
disgusting.
I'll respond.
It's a
Thank you.
narco
Thank you for your
government.
response. So 70% of the drugs sold in America, brought into America, are brought in by citizens. Why do I bring this up? Because when we say that undocumented immigrants are the issue, they're the people that are just bringing all these drugs across the border, then they come here to like women and kidnap children and commit all these heinous violent crimes, is nothing more than the demonization of a demographic that's
Okay, I
actually very
never said
beneficial
all the
to this country.
undocumented people are the one who bringing
But that's what Trump has
to
said.
become citizens.
And that's why you shouldn't
I'm
support
not,
Trump.
I'm not telling you he's doing everything perfect. I never say that. I'm talking about the borders that we have more than 2,000 miles border with
Yeah.
Mexico, and that's where they came the drugs, and that's where they came this trafficking.
I don't listen.
People
I actually
trafficking
through legal ports of
and
entry for the most
weapons
part.
that
So
are
once
killing
again,
our people in the streets right now.
So once again, a vast majority of the drugs brought across the border are brought in by citizens through legal ports of entry. And when I give you an explanation for this, it's going to make sense to you, because think about it. Okay, when a citizen is coming in through a legal port of entry, okay, well, nobody just has the innate right per the state to pull them over, scrutinize them, check every nook and cranny of their vehicle
they should.
because of our Constitution.
should.
But when they identify an undocumented immigrant, well, they already have an individual who's capable of breaking federal law. So then they have all the rights in the world to detain them, arrest them if they need to pat them down or check their vehicle. And that's why a lot of the drugs that come into this country will come in with citizens. But I think my larger point here is I don't think that Donald Trump has secured the border. I think that the reason why we've seen such a drastic decline in undocumented entry has nothing to do with proactive long-term border policy, but rather to do with fascism and human rights abuse. There are people in this country that are getting illegally deported and then tortured in places like CCOT. Executive Order number 14160 attempted to unconstitutionally reclassify citizens as undocumented immigrants to be lined up and deported by the DHS. We're watching people like Alex Preddy get murdered in broad daylight by ICE agents.
I want to answer to you.
And that was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that was crazy right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Legal and deportation. I used to be a foster care liaison. When all these kids in cages, that was not true. I was there. They called us for an emergency meeting looking for families to support these kids. Meanwhile, they were reunified with their families. Reunification with their families. Yes, it was not true that was in cages. That was just the media, what they wanted to portray.
So
you know
is your
what
argument
I mean?
that Executive Order number 14160 doesn't even exist?
What I'm saying is the media wants to say what they want to say because they have already, you know.
But this isn't coming
Okay,
from the media. It's coming from the White House
You've been voted
website.
out.
All right.
All right, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome in. I think we should start this off a little
I
bit.
didn't even sit down.
I know, I'm
even in
talking
the
to you while you're
chair.
standing up. Hi, okay. I'll slow
Hi.
it down. What's your name?
I'm Kaitia, but you can say Tia. It's a lot easier.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Tia.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here. Listen, I say we start this conversation off a little bit differently. Can I tell you why I think Trump is a terrible president?
That's what I was going to ask you. I would love to know, actually.
Perfect. Yeah, well, I break it down to the 3 main categories. His domestic policy, his foreign policy, and his character. Okay? He is the worst president of my life. The worst president.
Yeah, worst president in my life.
Domestic policy, his foreign policy, and his character. Okay?
Hey, whether like one thing one thing that I admire when it comes to like any human being is a straightforward person. You know what I mean? I love like a person that's straightforward. I'm not with all the shenanigans. I'm not with all the, you know what I mean, sugarcoating and all that. Like I just like how he's straightforward. I mean, even though some of y'all probably don't agree with him, I don't agree with a lot of things he say, but one thing I can respect when it comes to a person, when it comes to him, is he's just straightforward. You know what I mean? Honestly, I just like, you know, you ain't got to guess with him. You know what I mean? Like what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? I like that. You know what I mean? I got to respect that when it comes to
He is the worst president of my
I feel like I'm a straightforward person. Like, you know what I mean? What you see is what you get, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't like something, do I tell you? You know what I mean? There's no sugarcoating me. You know what I mean? It's no beating around the bush. I tell you what the freak going on, right? If you don't like it, okay, cool. If you like it, cool. You know what I mean? But one thing I'm going to do is be straightforward with you.
worst president of your life and the worst president of the lives of every single person sitting in this circle. Let's start by evaluating his character.
All I know, he is a convicted felon. You know what I mean? Convicted on 30 counts. I've never seen a convicted felon be a president in my life. I've never seen that. A convicted felon cannot get a warehouse job, you know what I mean? But a convicted felon can be a president. That right there shows the favoritism when it comes to America. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. That right there, it shouldn't fly. You know what I mean? So that right there is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like the hypocrite, like, so you telling me a convicted felon cannot get a warehouse job, a convicted felon cannot get a rink-a-dink-dink job, but a convicted felon can be the most important job in America, which is the president of the United States. That right there is the most craziest thing to be able.
He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that is boasted
Exactly.
about proving in the naked.
Now, he's a felon. I don't know about the rapist part.
Let's start by evaluating his character. He's a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist that is boasted about proving in the naked bodies of beauty pageant contestants, depicted black people as monkeys on his Truth Social, and was sued in the 70s for refusing to rent to black people because he thought that they were quote-unquote poor. And there's about a billion other things I could say because of the time on the clock. I'll keep it concise. We look at his domestic policy. There's not a single macroeconomic variable that is better off today under Trump than it was a year and a half ago under Biden. GDP growth is down. We got one of the worst jobs report in modern American history last year, adding only 170,000 jobs to the economy after adding 2.2 million under Biden in 2024. We see that unemployment is up. We saw 1.3 million layoffs. We see the highest increase in the price of gas in 1 month since the Vietnam War in 1967. Foreign policy is a disaster. He said he was going to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine on day one. He didn't. He said he was going to bring us closer to our allies. Now they all hate us because we impose unconstitutional legal tariffs on them. He said he was going to be the president of no new wars. Then he started a new war of choice at Iran just to deflect away from the Epstein files. And
Exactly. I don't even know why did that war with Iran even happen?
Trump is a terrible president. The mic and the floor are yours.
Okay, thank you. So I haven't been in politics that long as far as like interest. It was like 2016 really opened my eyes. I never thought Trump had a chance, honestly. But I do seem to remember in 2016, a lot of the dialogue around his win was he only won because America's racist, basically saying everyone who voted for him was racist. This is after 8 years of Obama, by the way, who got reelected. So based on that, and after 4 years of not being president and now he's back, why do you think that he won if he's one of the most terrible presidents in our lifetime?
Okay, yeah, I'll give a direct answer to that question. I first want to ask a clarifying one. Did you think that Biden was a bad president?
I don't want to talk about Biden because that's not why we're here.
Right, okay, well, I'd expect you to answer that legitimate question would be no, of course, but Biden got the most votes out of any president in history. We can't say just because people were willing to vote for a candidate to be president that therefore they were the best option. The reason why I think that Trump won the election had a lot to do with propaganda surrounding the negative economic impacts of the pandemic, okay? We saw 9% high levels of inflation, roaring gas prices, and I don't think that these things were caused by Biden, but Biden never was really too publicly outspoken about that, and I think that was a messaging problem with the Dems. The second reason why I think that Donald Trump won had to do with the fact that Kamala Harris only had a little bit over 100 days.
A little bit of time, I ain't gonna lie to you. I honestly feel like, and it's just real, honestly feel like if Kamala Harris would have had time, bro, I feel like Kamala Harris probably would have won, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, personally, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, for me, the voting stuff, I'm just not, I told y'all, bro, politics, I just don't care for it. I mean, I don't care who president, I don't care who mayor. Because at the end of the day, I told y'all who I look to. So it's like, I don't have to vote. You know what I mean? I'm very grateful for, you know, for the people that's back then, especially the people that's my color, for what y'all did for voting. You know what I mean? But personally, I just do not care about politics. You know what I mean? Because nothing can happen to me unless the Father let it happen to me. I'm sorry, y'all. You know what I mean? That's how I look at life. You know what I mean? That's my president. You know what I mean? That's my father. That's who I look to, him right here. You feel me? So it's like, I don't really care about voting and all that. I'm not looking for you to save me. I got the person that can save me. It's nothing that you can do for me that he can't. That's all I'm saying, bro. I just feel like, you know what I mean? A lot of y'all just be hoping. You know what I mean? Placing y'all hopes on a human that's going to fail you every time. He human, bro.
Which I also blame on Biden. He should have stepped down a lot sooner. But ultimately, I don't think Trump won because he's a good president, and that's undeniable. Has your life gotten better in the last year and a half?
My life has gotten better,
and how has Trump made it better? Tell me, specifically.
I honestly do feel safer with him president. I mean, we can beat a dead horse with the closed border. That means a lot to me. Like, I'm a mom. I have kids. It's important to me that
I feel the same.
In LA, which is like crazy, right? Do you live out here or no?
No, I don't. But you would be safer to leave your children with the average undocumented immigrant compared to the average citizen. They're 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes compared to the average U.S. citizen.
In my home with me, that's why I homeschool, and that's why I'm a mom, and my children come first. So for me, being able to do that is a blessing. There's a lot of sacrifices that come with that, especially in this economy. I would be lying if I didn't say, like, it's difficult with the gas prices. It's difficult with the groceries and the tariffs. There's a lot of things. Yeah, similar with Biden, there was a lot. Inflation has not increased in the same amount as it did under Biden.
What did Biden do to cause it?
The money to Ukraine and the open border. You can look and you can research about how much it cost.
I thought you didn't believe in Jesus. Y'all see what I'm saying? I thought he was atheist. You see how you can't even, you can't even help saying Jesus' name. You can't even help it. I thought you were atheist. Dean Withers? Why are you saying Jesus? I thought you don't believe in God. So if you don't believe in God, you definitely don't believe in Jesus Christ. Word on the street, I don't know if it's true or not. Somebody told me that. So y'all, if it's not true, y'all tell me. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. But I'm not believing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? What I'm hearing, but I'm just trying to see, like, are you atheist? You know what I mean? Do you believe in God or do you don't? You know what I'm saying? I just need to know. Because if you are atheist, why are you saying Jesus Christ? That's all I'm saying. If you are atheist, it's word on the street. But I can't. I'll be a hypocrite if I believe what I'm hearing than what I know. You know what I mean? So I'm going to just leave it on the table. If you are atheist, you should not be saying Jesus Christ. But if you're not, then I'm going to just leave it on the table. I'm going to be 50-50. You know what I mean? So I can't be a hypocrite. I can't get over here and be a hypocrite, you know what I mean? And believe other people, you know what I'm saying? That's not how I work with me. You know what I mean? So I'm going to just leave it open.
To send the amount of money that we did to Ukraine and how
much money did we send to Ukraine?
What it did to affect our economy, and also with the undocumented immigrants.
How much money did we send to Ukraine?
They are getting Medi-Cal. They were getting money for food and free housing.
How much money did we send to Ukraine in 4 years under Biden?
You tell me.
$220 billion approximately.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. If you're going to blame Biden's 9% high level of inflation on $220 billion spent over the course of 4 years, then why don't we see like 50% levels of inflation, considering the fact that in the last year and a half, Donald Trump has passed the Big Beautiful Bill, which according to most estimates, is clocked in to cost us around $3.4 trillion over the course of 10 years. Or the simple fact that he's spending $1 billion a day on a war in Iran. He's going to spend just as much money on this war in Iran as as Biden did in 4 years on
I think
Ukraine
that's-
in less than a year.
I think
And on
that's
top of that,
something
the
we have to
cherry
wait
is
and see. And
Donald
I-
Trump has continued the funding
and
to
I
Ukraine,
think the important
blaming a
thing
9%
is-
high level of inflation on $220 billion worth of expenditure is nuts, especially when we consider that the Biden-Harris administration spent half of what the Trump administration spent in their first term.
I get what you're saying, and I think both of us, at the end of the day, we want what's best for America. I think we have different plans or strategies to get there. But the main thing I did want to come up here and say, I don't think you really answered it, was if Trump was the worst president in our lifetime, how did he win twice, if not
just
3 times,
answered.
depending on who you talk
just
to?
answered.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if he was that
Jeez.
terrible,
Just because he, I mean, foolish people. That's how foolish people. You know what I mean? So it's like he just answered. Like, just because you win, be a president, that don't mean you're a good president. You just got the most votes. You know what I mean? You just got the most votes. Foolish people. Foolish. I mean, people being foolish. Stupid people. That's simple. You know what I mean? It's not hard. Like, it's not hard to comprehend. You know what I mean? Because I know my mama ain't vote for Trump. I know my dad ain't. I don't think my dad voted for Trump. I know most of these, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people that ain't voting for Trump. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand the world that we live in, foolish outweighs the smart. Very much. You better understand that world that we living in. Foolish people outweighs smart people in this world. It's way more foolish people in this world than it is smart. It's way more weird people than it is smart. So just because he got a lot of votes, I mean, he got a lot of votes from foolish people.
and I mean, you can say, are we dumb as a box of rocks? Like,
Yeah.
we're the stupidest people.
Stupid
I've been
than
told
a
I've
motherfucker, you know?
internalized racism,
Do you want me to be
internalized
honest?
misogyny. I would love for you to be honest.
I don't think that anybody in the circle is particularly intelligent.
Okay, and I understand that that's how people see us.
Yeah, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop there. You've been voted.
I mean, shoot. If you vote for a freaking convicted felon, you gotta be a dummy. You gotta be a fool. I ain't gonna say a dummy, but you gotta be a fool. If you freaking vote for a convicted felon, that's crazy. But anyways, man, I'm gonna drop this part 2, part 1 drop, man. So make sure y'all go see that. But Dean Weathers, like I said, bro, at the end of the day, you ain't gotta, you know what I mean, like him, but one thing you gotta do is respect that he's straightforward, bro. And I like that about him. But anyways, man, it's your boy Jay, man. Take it easy. But you know, like Beezy, man, boy Jay out, man.